Welcome back to Straight Facts with the Don Husam. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. My club's being a little bit unserious, but other than that, I'm good. I'm happy as always. Straight facts. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the Terrace as well. So yeah, let's get this party started, man.
You are being. We're going to speak about Liverpool on the show. Your unseriousness, Klopp attacking fans, and everything going on there. Lots to talk about with Chelsea, with Caicedo, with Vlahovic, maybe even a little bit of Mbappe as well, according to reports in Spain. Of course, Harry Kane's done deal could happen today as well. Raya to Arsenal. I want to get your opinion on. I've seen a goalkeeping debate today, Raya or Sanchez. We're going to talk about that on the terrace. And Mickey, I think it's Van der Ven is a Spurs player, 50 million euros, which a lot of people weren't expecting. So loads to talk about on the show. But I actually wanted to start with your club, Liverpool, on the show today. And we'll get to the others later, because I saw a report this morning, bro. I thought to myself, Sam's going to love this. Liverpool linked with a move for Leicester City's Dewsbury-Hall. Are you excited about that?
Oh my God. Of course, I'm not excited about that, Terry, for fuck's sake, man. I can't believe this is a thing. I genuinely cannot believe this is a thing. This is just listen, this is the result of our unseriousness, this transfer window. And this is what this club deserve to be linked with, because of us waiting this long to actually deal with it. The club currently is a mess because we don't have a DM. It's the 4th of August. We still only signed Szoboszlai and McAllister, which is of course not good enough. And you know, we're here once again doing the whole Liverpool civil war thing, on fan base fighting all the time on Twitter, on social media, everywhere. You've got, of course, the fake positive people trying to be positive all the time, you know, for clicks, because with the Liverpool fan base, it's positivity gets you views, not negativity. And my thing is, like, I look at the situation we're in right now, and it's just a joke. It's just a joke. It's a mess, and we're unprepared. And the worst thing is, if me and Terry go out and Terry falls into a mud circle without seeing it, I'm gonna blame him the first time because he didn't see it. If he falls into it the second time, it's even worse. So last year we made this mistake. We were unprepared. We were unready. Blah blah blah. This season we're doing the same exact mistake again. No readiness, no urgency. We're just sat here, like, just messing around. And this is exactly why we try to protest the owners with the whole FSG out playing thing. This is exactly why we take this whole FSG thing seriously, because they're the reason why we cannot be successful fully. We cannot have sustainable success. And it's just pathetic, to be honest with you. Dewsbury-Hall. Dewsbury-Hall to try rebuild Liverpool, try win a league title, try win a Champions League. Are you mad? Dewsbury-Hall.
Mate, when I saw it, I hate Liverpool with a passion, but I'm feeling sorry for you all. You started the summer off, balls in China shop, McAllister in, Szoboszlai in, linked to Thuram, Kone, Lavia. You know, nothing. I'm not going to focus too much on your performances in pre-season, because I think there's elements of positivity from them, but I think people often take too much stock in them. But you haven't improved the squad enough. And again, I still think you'll make it into the top 5 in Champions League next year, but not challenging for the Premier League. You're starting off with failure straight away. And there's a super chat for you here from Tron. It says, Hassan, why are FSG trying to sabotage the season? Protest when?
I'm going to speak to Kurdish and we're going to organize the FSG out plane once again. The engines are ready, folks. The engines are ready. I'm thinking we might even do it Stamford Bridge. We might even do it Chelsea away. Even if it's not at Anfield, we might do it there anyway, because it still sends the message regardless. So it's either going to be first home game of the season or the Chelsea game. But listen, look, it's crystal clear when you have to blame Klopp and when you have to blame ownership. We've already known, because Terry has done thumbnails with Bellingham. He's done thumbnails with Chouamani. He's done thumbnails with Barella. He's done thumbnails with Caicedo. He's done thumbnails with Lavia. So the step after that is what we're worried about. Dewsbury-Hall, Ward-Prowse. You know, it keeps going worse and worse. There's Sanderberg coming as well. So the levels keep going lower. And we know. Oh, there you are.
Bro, do you know what's crazy about it as well? You know as well as I do, communist Merseyside, if you sign Dewsbury-Hall, you know they're going to spin it into a positive, don't you? You know that, like, you know that it's going to all be spun.
They'll use Henderson as an example. They'll use Henderson as an example. We signed Henderson from Sunderland, and he was one of our greatest ever captains. How do you know that Dewsbury-Hall is blah, blah, blah? You need to trust our manager. Do you know more than Klopp? Do you know more than FSG? Have you ever been to Anfield? Fuck off and go support Man City. I already know the 4 replies I'm going to get. Same exact ones.
No, mate, I hear you. I think it's crazy. Natty here says, Husam, how likely is it that you guys get a DM and centre back if a good enough standard by the end of the window? FSG would have swindled you, man, again if not.
I mean, I don't know how likely it is because we are pretty unserious. We are pretty unserious currently as things stand. And I don't know, man. Like, how can I even answer that question based on how Liverpool has behaved in the transfer windows over the last 12 months? I can't give you a for certain answer. I really can't, because it doesn't look like we're moving seriously. It doesn't look like we're doing this the right way. So would we sign it off a standard to maybe challenge for the league? I'd say probably not. So you could expect us to sign these 2 players, but probably projects.
Yeah, I don't see. Listen, Lavia is a project player. I think he's going to be brilliant. And there's talk of United getting involved in the deal. And if we signed him, I'd be happy. I'm not trying to slag him off. But I tried talking about this yesterday. I can't think of an 18, 19-year-old DM in the history of the Premier League, in fact, the history of top-flight European football in my lifetime, who's been able to lead a giant club's midfield to major titles in their first season, in only their second season as a pro. And the viewers yesterday tried to tell me Busquets did it. And that's a good example. However, Busquets in his first 2 seasons had Xavi, Iniesta, Yaya Toure, and Keita, the good Keita, around him. That is not what Lavia is going to have. He's going to have fairly inexperienced players around him, a croc Thiago, an aging backline, and Premier League football to contend with. So, yeah, look, it's looking a little bit techie for your title hopes next year now for Liverpool, especially after such a good start to the window. And with Henderson going, you're thinking, right, we can really move on. And, I mean, look, there's still just under 4 weeks of the window to go, but it's not great. Gunaway here says, Husam went from signing all our stars to being linked with Dewsbury-Hall. Ha, ha, ha. And another,
you know, Gunaway, I've already explained that last time, but I know the Arsenal fans sometimes your thick skulls can't absorb information. I said if we had money, we could lure any player other than Man City players to our football club. So you need to understand sometimes what I'm saying. Our problem is monetary, not pull, dumbass. But thank you for the super chat.
And Man United, I don't think you could lure our players away because of the clubs.
Oh, you know, and vice, of course.
Yeah, of course, and vice versa. And that's in fairness, that goes without saying. Yeah, it's one of them. It's like someone said to me, "Oh, we need to get someone like Salah at Man United." I went, "We've got no chance of getting Salah. Like he would never, ever play for us.
We can't get Rashford at Liverpool either.
No, exactly. It's just that thing. The only time we ever sign each other's players is if there's a club in between. Paul Ince and Michael Owen are the only 2 I can think of that in my lifetime have played for both. Maybe
remember when we really tried to sign Gabriel Heinze? And
that was mate. And in
fairness, we actually tried it while he was at United as well.
And Fergie did make an inquiry for Steven Gerrard. I don't know why he did that, but he did. And I mean, what I mean is he was a very, very good player. I know why he did it, but honestly, that's like me phoning up Beyonce right now and asking for a date. You just know what the answer is going to be. Do you know what I mean? You'd never take Martinelli from us. He is the GOAT, is what Carl Smith says here.
Come on, man. Come on, please stop it. Stop it. If just like, hey, in the words of Monty, one phone call from Jurgen Klopp, he'd be a Liverpool player, but we can't afford them. That's the problem. Do we have 100 million to spend? No, we don't. So that's the issue. The issue ain't Martinelli coming to Liverpool, but big up, I
Yeah.
do expect at some point in his career he might end up at Liverpool, Martinelli.
Do you
But
know
not
what?
now.
Maybe. Do you know what I look at? I mean, the Italians have said you did. The British press have been quiet. They always protect you guys so much. But you guys should have gone in for Amrabat, man. Amrabat should have been the guy that you lot went for. But by all accounts, he said no. Like, it's honestly a beautiful thing. You need Amrabat. He's available, but he rejects you for Man United. The story, Husam, it's poetic. I'm loving it. I'm not going to lie. It's a thing
we never made a bid for Amrabat or like we never spoke to the guy either. I don't think
you didn't get that far. You didn't get that far.
He hasn't been a guy. Even in the January window, there was quote unquote rumors that we might look into him. We never looked into Amrabat. You try to use it like it's Nunes and Gakpo. It isn't like Nunes and Gakpo. Nunes and Gakpo chose Liverpool over Man United. It's different.
No, he did. Yeah, and yours is worse. Gakpo and Nunes were, I'd love to join Man United. Liverpool came along. Which one do you want? Oh, United. I'm going to go with Liverpool. In this circumstance, you lot didn't even get to speak to Amrabat. He just went, no chance.
I can't believe you actually believe that, Terry. You're much better than this. You're much better than this. You know Amrabat would be a Liverpool player right now if we wanted him. Come on, man.
No, I don't. I disagree. I think Man United have got more pulled than you, and we're a better team than you right now as well. So
no, you don't. No, you don't.
We have more pull than Liverpool. We're Manchester United.
Listen, don't do the whole Johnny FX thing, please. Come on. Don't do the whole Man United. Come on, man.
Anton here says one call from Klopp and Colwell signed the 7-year deal.
That Colwell thing was so different, man. It was so different. Out of nowhere, the guy just I think he was promised game time. That's the thing, because his whole problem was game time, and he did end up staying because of game time. So yeah.
No, I hear you on that. We have the best front five in the league. We might concede, but we are going to score more. We are dangerous this year, is what Sean says. I think Sean's a Liverpool fan when he says that.
Sean, we're dangerous both ways. We're dangerous going forward, and we're dangerous at the back because we can't defend. So, I'm trying to stop one form of danger. There's positive danger, there's negative danger. I'm trying to stop the negative danger. So, for me, the defense, what's happening with the DM position, the center back, it's just pathetic, and there's no excusing it. All this, we're going to score more than the opposition. It's not basketball, with all due respect. It's not like I'm going to outscore you and win. And even in basketball, which is like a sport like that, still the teams that have a good defense actually win titles. So, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be, man. You're just never going to progress as a club if you just try to outscore everyone. You need a good defense. You need a solid defense.
Yeah, we saw that Liverpool started that way under Klopp, and he had to abandon it because it's entertaining. It makes you look great. You'll get a lot of plaudits on Match of the Day and sort of the pundit shows, but you absolutely will. And I don't even mean this as a disrespect. You will not win major titles playing like that. Nobody ever has. So it's one of them things where it's a case of like, you have to have that strong defense. That's going to be interesting to see how it kind of pans out and how it sort of looks moving forward. I'm going to stay with Liverpool, but we are going to go to Tottenham very soon and Man United, Bayern Munich, Kane. But I wanted to ask, do you think the pressure's getting to Jurgen Klopp a bit? Because this video has emerged of Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool fans yesterday. Viewers, take a little listen and have a little look.
I don't have time, actually. And you have to hold the fucking...
Oh, sorry, Klopp.
That's really always been...
So he says he hasn't really got time. He's signing a shirt for the fans, and then the fans aren't holding the shirt properly. And he says to his own fans, you have to effing hold the shirt as well. Do you think that's a bit wrong from your manager? Like, I know he's under pressure. I know it's pre-season, but swearing at your fans like that, surely that can't be acceptable.
There is no way you guys are cry-arsing over Klopp having to tell us what to hold the fucking shirt in the proper place. Come on, but we cannot be that sensitive as football fan. You know what I find crazy? 20 years ago, managers probably said 100 times more worse things, but because it was never recorded on a phone, no one said anything. All Klopp said was, you have to hold the fucking shirt. That's it. And then everyone's bad. Like,
I'm just. So you're saying you're fine with your manager swearing at young children fans, young fans,
He didn't
children.
swear at him. He told him to
He
fucking
did swear
hold
at them. He does
No,
swearing
he
at
didn't
them,
say fuck
fam.
you, hold the shirt. He said hold the fucking shirt. That's not swearing at him.
So
It's not swearing at him.
if I meet your mum or your mum, right, and she does something, and I say no, hold the fucking phone that way, right?
You wouldn't, but you never meet my mom, so that's
you wouldn't say don't swear at my mum like that. Of course you would.
Of course I would, but that's different. That's different. That's family.
Yeah, well, someone's children. Like honestly, if Klopp said that to my kid, I'd be jibbing him in the mouth. I'd be giving him a little jab.
Klopp is stressed because he's not getting backed. That's why Klopp is stressed.
No, I know. And that's what I think it is. I think he's really stressed. And listen, I like I don't think it's that deep on a real level. I'm just joking, but you can see the stress levels in Jurgen Klopp, like swearing at last year, calling you all idiots online. Do you remember? Now he's swearing at fans. The man's under pressure. He's under pressure.
Last summer, I blamed him. Last summer, I did, but I don't think this summer specifically, I don't think he deserves blame because he's publicly actually come out, because this is something that people have criticized him for. He's publicly come out and said, we need players. He's publicly come out and said, it's like, it looks like we need a DM and a center back. He said it both, like he said both positions that we need publicly. And we look at the targets that we've been linked with from the start of the window compared to now. It's showing you that the standard is coming down, not because of him wanting to drop down the standard, because of him not being backed. So that's the problem, man.
No, I hear you. Like I get his frustration. I get the pressure that he's under. I do get that. It's going to be very, very intriguing to see how it kind of pans out for him. There's no doubt about it. Big up to you two. Love both your channels. Keep the blue flag flying high. Thank you very much, Anton. I appreciate that. Mateo says, Husam pushing the agenda that he's K-pop coach, Paul gimmick on every stream, week in, week out. Shameless man.
First of all, you know, Mateos, I actually realized something. This is what I realized with your fan base, because I know you're an Arsenal fan. I actually don't mention Pull. I don't mention anything. The first super chat of this entire stream, because I am in your fan base's head on the terrace rent-free, is a super chat about me speaking about, I thought you could get our players. Ha 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 ha. So what do you expect me to talk about? My eyebrows? I'm going to address the super chat, Mateos. So it's not, I actually don't start this Pull argument every week. I really don't. I started it once. But after that, the Arsenal fans have just never forgotten. It's okay, man. It's okay. The Arsenal fans, you know, I'm going to send you a virtual hug. I'm sure you're going to need more hugs when you bottle the league in April again.
Need to talk about this though. Cal's put a comment in, and it's now breaking news. Bayern Munich have placed a bid of 120 million euros for Harry Kane today. Also on the same day that they're talking about there being a deadline for him, there could be a Harry Kane done deal today.
Is this factual? What he just put in the thing?
No, so reports from Germany that a bid has gone in. It's now been confirmed by James Ollie, who's seen as a very credible journalist for ESPN. He says Bayern Munich have sent an offer totaling 120 million euros to Tottenham for Harry Kane. The German press have said that a bid has gone in over 85 million pounds. So that could be the same thing. So yes, it does appear that the 120 million euro offer for Harry Kane has gone in.
Harry, it's time to get on that plane and get the hell out of Tottenham Hotspur this very second. Tottenham Hotspur is not a serious football club. Tottenham Hotspur is not a football club I take seriously. Tottenham Hotspur is not a club that I respect. Tottenham Hotspur is not a club that I will ever value, regardless of how many players they sign and they try trick us as if they're serious. My thing is, get your ass out of there, Harry. It's time, Harry. Get on that plane. Go win yourself a title. They have already stopped you for the last 10 years of your career of winning anything. Don't make them stop you for an 11th year. Get on that Ryanair flight, because they fly, I think, the most out of England. So get into that Ryanair flight. Get your ass to Munich and go over there, sign that contract. Go score yourself 40 Bundesliga goals. Go help them in the Champions League. You're gonna get the top 30 Ballon d'Or vote. You're gonna win yourself a Bundesliga title. You're probably gonna win yourself the DFB Pokal. You're gonna be happy, man. Get your ass to Germany now, Harry. It's time. It's time, my brother. It's time.
He's got to get it. Look, get himself out. I listen. I agree. I want there to be a sting in the towel here. I want Man United to go and match the bid. I want Man United to get involved. I would love him at my club, but I want him away from Tottenham. I would say now probably for about 4 or 5 years on the terrace, I've kind of pushed this Harry Kane agenda. I've been pushing it for a long time because I believe that he needs to get out of here. I've always felt that his talent is too good to end his career with no trophies. And if he stays at Tottenham, he will win nothing because Tottenham don't win anything. Their fans still talk about themselves being a good cup team. They've won 2 League Cups in 32 years. This is not a good cup team anymore. This is not a team that wins anymore. They are a cash cow for Enoch. They are a money-making machine, and they are fantastic at doing that. They're one of the best commercially run clubs in the world. There's no doubt there is no doubt about it. But they are one of the worst football clubs, pound for pound, in world football over the last 30 years when it comes to winning trophies. That's a fact. Because you know how much money they have. You've got to remember, they spent as much until Fergie retired. From 1992 until Fergie retired in 2013, Tottenham spent more in the transfer market than Fergie. That's legitimately how bad a winner they are as a football club. So Kane, push for the move, get yourself out, get in that Bayern Munich team, as you said. You'll score so many goals in the Bundesliga. You'll become a legend.
So many.
Oh, he's going to score 30 goals a season easy in their league. He'll score 40 to 50 goals for Bayern Munich. I actually think he can become a legend in 3 to 4 years there because he's that good a football player. He also can go on and win Champions Leagues there as well. And if he can go there and win a Champions League, and if you win a Champions League, with Bayern Munich, it pretty much means you're doing a treble as well. Then you can come back to England, play for another big club, break the goal scoring record of Alan Shearer's, and you can retire a genuine football legend. And listen, I'm telling you this now, he makes this move. By the end of his career, Spurs is a footnote in his career. This is where Harry Kane becomes an actual football legend, God damn it. Now, I wish he was doing it at Man United.
You're a footnote. Sorry? You're the reality. The reality is Tottenham Hotspur
is a footnote in his career. That's just where he just developed there. He just left too late. Do you know what I mean?
They're a footnote in Gareth Bale's career. They're a footnote in everyone's career because they're just an unsuccessful big institution. They're just shit. And that's why earlier on our first straight facts, you start asking about Maddison, and I almost fell into the trap again of going like, oh my God, Tottenham Hotspur have signed James Maddison. What a signing. Yay. Incredible money they got him for. And then boom. They just suck again. Yeah. You just know it's Spurs.
The thing is as well, like I feel I don't hate Spurs. I feel sorry for some of their fans as well because their owners and the kind of media around them, they suck them all in to this idea of we're going to do it this time. And they always like pull the rug from under their feet. They always push them off the edge of the plank. They always let the Spurs fans down. And I'm not a fan of billionaire owners treating the working class fan the way they do. And Harry Kane got suckered into it as well. When he signed them new deals, I think we can go again. I think we can reach the top. Look at what they did to Poch. Poch built the best team I think that club has had in 30, 40 years. And then they let it rot. Then they went to managers with a completely different ideology. One of them got them to a cup final and they sacked him just before it. The whole thing is utterly mad. And look, I'm glad Spurs fans can't get away. They're Spurs fans. They love their club and they'll never walk away from it. But Harry Kane, you're not even a Spurs fan. You're an Arsenal fan. What are you doing? Get away, get to a club where you can win and become a legend. Natty here says £103 million. Yeah, £103 million package. You'll probably find it's about 80 to 85 million pounds as a base with add-ons, taking it up to that 100 million mark. I also think Spurs would be stupid to not take it.
Yeah, that's good money from Spurs perspective too. Make no mistake. You know, me and yourself even thought that he might probably go for it a bit cheaper if he goes to the Bundesliga. And then, like, if they're getting 103 million pounds, then he should just sell. That's massive money. That's massive money for him on his last year of his deal. So He should
No.
get out, man. Get out, Harry. It's time. Just leave, man. Go be happy elsewhere, man. Go be happy elsewhere.
I'm not lying though. I've set up some notifications up for like my Twitter for anything related to Harry Kane's name and Man United. I'm so desperate to see us trying to, like, I've had a theory all summer. We're going to wait for it to get to this point and then we're going to get involved. And it's purely hopium. It's not even copium, it's hopium, brothers. I'm hoping that it happens. I don't think it will.
Hoyland for you now. It's Hoyland. That's it. You're gonna have to deal with
Hoylund. He's told everyone how to say his name. Listen, I'm excited about Hoyland, brother. A lot of people are like kind of laughing at Man United. This kid is such a talent. It's unbelievable.
That's too much money to pay for a talent.
64 million. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
64 million pounds, 85 million euros. Of course it is, Terry.
No.
You could get many better players than Hoyland for that money. Oh, man. Hoyland? Really?
And
9 Serie A goals?
By the way, 85 million euros isn't 64 million pounds. 64 million pounds is 74 euros.
Yeah, the whole package. Yeah, the whole package.
Yeah, I don't think it is for a player with supreme talent who.
I don't think it's supreme talent. 9 goals in the Serie A is not supreme talent. Because you look at some of the players who have outscored him. He got outscored by Coop Miners in his own team, who's a midfielder.
No, I understand that, but you got to go and actually look at the context of the minutes he got in the beginning of the season. The goals started coming towards the end. His form for Denmark and what he was showing. If Man United don't buy him now for 64 million, he becomes a £100+ million player next year after the season he's got coming up. So you've got to strike while the iron is hot. As far as I'm concerned, you've got to strike while the iron is hot in relation to this. You know, he's a young player in one of the best leagues in the world. The overall ability that he demonstrated was great last year. I'm very, very excited about him indeed. And you got to remember, you man paid just as much, if not more, for Núñez, who only scored 9 league goals last year himself in a better team. So, that for me,
You see how you're being intellectually dishonest? Why didn't you mention how many goals we signed him for at Benfica? That's the right comparison, not how many goals he scored for Liverpool. He scored 26 goals for Benfica and was the top goal scorer of the Portuguese league.
Yeah, I know he did.
He was worth the potential.
Very well.
This guy scored less goals than Boulaye.
No, but the reason I'm comparing that way is because then he went to one of the best leagues one of the top 3 leagues in the world and scored 9. My striker's already in one of the top 3 leagues in the world and scored 9, 15 in all competitions. In fact, he got exactly the same amount of goals last year as Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez is still worth the money you paid for him, even though his goal return reduced because he went to a higher quality league, because the talent is still there. Rasmus Højlund still has the talent, bruv. The talent is still there, 110%. So
but nine goals in the Premier League is a lot more difficult than 9 goals in the Serie A. So that's
I would say slightly more, but then he's also how old is Darwin Núñez? He's 24 years old. My guy's a kid. So pound for pound, I prefer where Rasmus Højlund is in his career. And you'll see next season, he will score for Man United over 20 goals in all competitions for his first year. There's no doubt about it.
Over 20 goals. You're the first Man United fan to say that to me.
No,
you're the first
to you anyway. Yeah, because I've researched him. This kid is dynamite. He is dynamite.
Because people are saying 12 goals, 13 goals. It's an investment for the future. Blah 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 blah. But you're expecting 20. That's different. That's different. So even in your mind, you're not paying for just potential. You're paying for what he can do this season.
Listen, I've got expectations on him to score goals from day one. Like maybe not his first game.
Okay, fair enough. So you're being fair. Okay, so my problem is with people who say it's potential, it's an investment for the future.
100%. I'm being fair on that. Someone here says how Serie A is not hot. Listen, Serie A. Look at all the final. I mean, they all lost. To be fair. But look at all the finalists in the European competitions last year were Italian. Let's not act like it's a dirt league where there's no quality. England had 2 finalists, but Italy had 3 finalists in European finals. They've got some very good football teams out there. Let's not pretend like they're all dog poo. Like at the end of the day, Inter Milan in that final against, if they weren't playing City, I think they could have beaten anybody else. In fact, they weren't even that far away from beating City. If you actually go back and watch the game, they had chances to go ahead and to equalize in that game. So let's not act like that league is absolute dog poo, please, because that is intellectually dishonest. Terry, you're literally one of maybe 5 educated, concise, balanced YouTube commenters on socials. Respect. Come on, you gooners. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate. Not everyone would agree with you, but thank you. AD here says, Arsenal fan here. I honestly think Liverpool will pop off next season. Salah been training all summer, and Trent is coming back to a new mindset as a co-captain. They don't have to worry about Champions League football. Do you agree with that, Husam?
I have no doubt in my mind that Trent's going to have a good season, Salah's going to have a good season, and they need to deliver next season. But AD, here's the thing. If I call in a plumber to fix something in my house, he needs to have the right tools to do it. If he doesn't have a hammer, I need to be able to give him a hammer. If he doesn't have a, you know, I don't know what they're called in English, all these like tools and stuff. But if it doesn't have any of the tools, I need to be able to help him out with the tools. My thing is, it's so crystal clear. Like a blind man can tell you that Liverpool need a DM and a centre back. There's actually no active DMs. Curtis Jones is not a DM. McAllister is not a DM. Szoboszlai is not a DM. Trent is not a DM. The fact that we played Trent Alexander-Arnold as our defensive midfielder tells you how bad it is. So we have a genuine gaping hole that's staring you in your eye right now and telling you, I am a problem. So we need to go address it. We need to go sign a DM. We need to go sign a centre back. And then I will say the stuff you're saying. Because in my mind, it's not about a Trent or Salah thing. It's about us actually having a team that's missing key parts in key areas that we need to take us ourselves to the next level. And the problem is we don't have it. We don't have it. That's the issue, man.
Yeah, look, I get where you're coming from. I think Liverpool will do well next year. But again, I'm judging Liverpool based on very high standards of challenging for Premier League titles. Terry already bet me United will score 20 plus more goals. Yeah, look, we scored 58 goals in the Premier League last year. I think we'll get at least 78 goals in the Premier League. I think we'll improve by about 20 goals a season in the Premier League. There or thereabouts. So yeah, I think we will. I'm very comfortable and relaxed about that. We created the chances to score that amount of goals last year, but missed them. I just don't believe we will be, or I don't think we will be as poor clinically this year. I think certain players in the squad, like Bruno had a decent season. I think he'll score more this year. I think the Sanchos and the Antonys and the Garnachos will score more this year. And I think you throw a Højlund into the team, he's going to generate more goals. So yeah, I'm confident. I'm really, really confident. 100%. I stand by it. There's no one said anything to me yet or given me any counter argument as to why we can't do it. People can say, no, you won't, but that's not a debate. That's just you disagreeing. Why won't Man United improve by that amount of goals? Liverpool will handle injuries even worse than Arsenal last season. Thin midfield and thin defense, but still unreal in attack, is what Neil Black has got to say here.
You know what it is, Neil? It's already started for me. And people who watch me, there's many people in this comment section who actually watch my channel too. And it's like the Husam versus Liverpool fans has started again. And it's just sometimes I still don't understand how people are just not looking at our situation and are extremely worried. I just told everyone, remember that Bayern Munich game? As soon as McAllister went down for 30 seconds, we all shat ourselves. And there's a reason why we all shat ourselves, because we have no depth. Our season is reliant on McAllister and Szoboszlai staying fit for the whole year. And we actually are relying on a position that we haven't even signed yet. So that's the problem for me. Our attack, yes, is unbelievable. I know Salah's going to score goals. Gakpo's going to get goals. Jota, Nunes, Diaz. Players are going to score goals, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, you cannot enter a Premier League season without a defensive midfielder. That's just taking the piss, or a backup centre back. So Matip left so much space behind him in that friendly game. You could have built a mini golf course and played actual mini golf. That's how bad it was. Like, there were acres of space behind him. It's just not good enough, man. It's just not good enough. And that's why we need improvements. And that's why I speak up against the owners, and I speak up against the mistakes that we're doing every day, man. That's the issue.
Mate, and I hear you on that. I think you're right to call out your club and your team when you do. I think you obviously make some really, really good points around there, and it's good challenges around there. Braff here says your manager is focusing more on transitional play. Oh, I'm so glad you said this. I brought this up on the Top 6 show last night. This is
me
what
or you?
No, this guy. No, it's Man United. Man United.
Oh, man. Okay.
Because Ten Hag. This is what happens when people only source their news from tweets and they don't read articles or listen to interviews in entireties. The manager did say he wants to become the best transition team in the world, but he didn't say we only want to play transition football. So if you actually watch our games this preseason, we're trying to hold the ball more. We're trying to have a bit more possession. We brought a goalkeeper in that allows us to play out from the back better. but also what the goalkeeper will allow us to do. And we saw it against Dortmund. We just didn't capitalize on the opportunities in that game of going long when we are pressed, and it opens up opportunities. But you also, if you're trying to have more possession-based football, great. But it doesn't mean you can't train and practice to also be a brilliant transition team when teams attack you and play on the counter. Man United under Fergie, barring away against Arsenal and probably Liverpool for the majority of his career, we dominated the ball against most of our opponents. But we were the most devastating counter-attacking team in the Premier League still. So again, stop just reading tweets and going, oh, I know what Man United are doing. Read the full article or listen to the full interview. So then maybe you wouldn't make that mistake. Salah came from the Swiss League, end of discussion.
He actually came from the Serie A.
After, Swiss League, Premier League, Serie A, and then that way around. Debbie here, long time no see, Debbie says, to you guys, what will happen with a Dembele situation? Well, he's gone PSG, isn't he?
Yeah, he has gone to PSG, and apparently it's something that's pissed off like Barcelona fans and stuff. They're calling him a snake and shit. Because apparently he came out and he said like they want to stay, he wants to stay. So they're really pissed off with Dembele. I can't lie, Barcelona do worry me with something. I'm gonna say something here for the first time on the Terrace, because I haven't even said this on my channel, but I'm gonna say it here. Barcelona scare me that they might try in the last 2 weeks of the window to sign Mo Salah. I honestly believe it. If Rafinha leaves after Dembele, I think they're gonna look around Europe and go like, which winger is actually available right now?
Jeez.
And honestly, Terry, think about it. Which other winger is available like that? Like which other winger is of that quality to begin with? Because they're not gonna sign Saka or Martinelli. You know, they're not gonna sign players like that. Maybe they could sign Bernardo to play there. That could be my other thing. But Bernardo's also come out and said like he won't stay. But I am afraid that Barcelona do make an approach for Mo. That's something that scares me. And then Mo looks around and is like, I'm in the prime of my career. I'm doing really well. And this club's unserious, just like playing like just fucking around in the transfer window. This is a genuine fear. Like, jokes aside, this is a genuine fear I'm thinking about.
No, I'm
thinking like, shit, what if they come in for him? That's something that I'm going like, oh,
I don't think they will. I don't think they will. But if they offered enough money, you know as well as I do, your owners would accept. They would accept. And if that was to happen, and you lost Mo Salah, then I would change my opinion. You wouldn't be making you wouldn't be making a Champions League position. I think it would take too much, because that man is too. You got to remember, his numbers are on par with Thierry Henry for games played in the Prem, for outputs for Liverpool are on par with Henry. That is how clutch and important and integral he has been to your team. To lose him, in my personal opinion, Liverpool might not have a player as prolific again as that for you for 30, 40, 50 years, because they're not even generational. They can be once in, you might get 2 or 3 players like that in 100 years at a club. Like, it's so hard to replace. So yeah, for me, you better hope that don't happen, because you'd be in big trouble if it does. Big trouble.
We will be. We're already in a problem anyway. I feel like if that somehow happens, we're going to be an even bigger problem. That's the thing that genuinely worries me.
I hear you. Do you think Liverpool will sell, though? Do you think Liverpool would sell if the bid was right?
Our owners are money-grabbing pricks. If you give them 100 million right now for Mo Salah, they sell. They sell. That's the reality. Do you want to talk about reality or utopia? Would I sell him? Absolutely not. Would the owners sell him? Yeah. I'd say 110 million, 120 million, 130 million in that region, they sell. 1,000,000%.
Yeah. Listen, your owners are like that. Solid show as ever, gents. Thank you, Dwayne. Really appreciate that, bro. I hope you're good. Hi, bro. Hope you're well, man. Hope you're well, brother.
Dwayne.
If you sell Mo, then Liverpool will buy Mohamed Kudus,
which is nowhere near Mo Salah. So this is the thing. You know, you sell your Lamborghini, you replace it with a Honda. Good luck on trying to pick up people in that Honda now.
Replying to someone. Yeah, no, listen, I think Mohamed Kudus is very talented, but Mo Salah's of a standard that is almost impossible to surpass, in my opinion. Rashford, a purple patch player, can't rely on him. His goals might. I don't really. We had one poor
purple patch is harsh, but I don't think he's consistent enough. but not purple patch. There's a different thing.
Yeah. So listen, I think that in terms of his overall course of the season, season before last, where it was an awful campaign, but the previous 2 years before that, it was over 30 GA goals and assists in both seasons. Last year was his best. The anomaly is the bad year. The anomaly isn't last season. The anomaly was the poor year. Every other season up until that point, he was getting better and better, had a terrible season, and then had his best year ever. So there's one, if you were to put it on a graph, his consistency, all he's done is his numbers and consistency have grown and grown and grown. He had a dip, and then they grew back to a higher place than they've ever been before. That's consistency for me. And so I think purple patch is a little bit harsh, but I'm confident Rashford will have another big season, 40 plus goals and assists for Man United, many winners. Just Danny K, just go and research how many winning goals he scored for Man United in the last 5 to 6 years. One of the highest in Man United's history. He's also going to probably move into the top 10 goal scorers in our club's history this season as well. Is that
true, actually?
Yeah, it is true. I mean,
top
he's
10?
literally this season. I was looking at it. I was actually looking at this the other day. Man United's top goal scorers. I think my prediction is he'll move into the top 10 this year. I'm going to go to this. Let me just go to this one thing here. Record goal scorers. So Rashford's currently sitting in 11th position. Okay, on 123 goals. In 10th is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on 126. George Best is on 137. Mark Hughes in 8th is on 138. Ronaldo's 7th on 145. I believe he could go into, I reckon he could overtake Ronaldo this season. If he has a massive season again and scores 30, he'll surpass Ruud van Nistelrooy and go to 6th. He probably won't catch Paul Scholes this season. He's 155. But he could literally, if he scores 30 goals this season, if he scored 30 goals again for this campaign, he would become the 5th highest goal scorer in Man United's history. That is not a fucking purple patch player. I'm sorry. It just, again, the numbers don't, to be 25 years of age and to be the 5th highest goal scorer in Man United's history as a winger, not an out-and-out striker. Come on now. That's not a purple patch player, in my personal opinion. I think he'll move.
I just think he needs more consistency. That's it.
Yeah, but I think his consistency of performances come as the team gets better. By the way, he's done that in Man United's worst period for 40 years. It's very, very good return. Terry, you pronounce Højlund correctly already, except the D is silent. Yes, Højlund. He was doing it on this video today. It was funny. Højlund. I know, as I am Danish, good luck getting smashed next week, Husam. That comes from a Chelsea fan.
I mean, Chelsea ain't really in the best place either for you to be making threats like that. Where's Caicedo, brother? Where's Caicedo? We're still waiting. Isn't this the 500th time you've spoken about Caicedo? Hey, I think I'm going to go out there on a limb and I'm going to say it's going to end 0-0 again for the 100th time between Liverpool and Chelsea. It's going to be another 0-0 dead shit game, man.
One of our members here says, hope to see Rasmus Højlund play this weekend. Yeah, I don't think he'll play tomorrow. He's going to be, a lot of Man United fans have cried this week. Cried. Why haven't we had an announcement? Because we're doing a live one at the stadium tomorrow. Just wait. Just have a bit of patience. I think he might play against... we've got a second friendly on Sunday. I think he might play in that. D's got a hot take here. Nketiah will score more goals than Højlund. No, I don't think he will. Personally, no.
Are you saying if he went to Palace and played 38 games? Because then they might have similar numbers in Prem, like maybe around 13, 14 goals mark. It's a possibility. But if you're saying at Arsenal, then no. I don't think he's going to get enough game time to begin with. But I look, I'm going to be honest with you. This is something that even last time on Straight Facts we spoke about when the whole 34 million bid for Nketiah thing was a reality. I was like, listen, man, if he plays 38 games, he's going to get you 12, 13 goals. So like, if you're talking about Prem only, if he moves to Palace, it's a possibility. At Arsenal, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Good time to go in for Martinelli if Salah leaves. Well, that's also that's what would be interesting. That's what would be interesting. Could you imagine if you did, then you got him at like all your pool conversation? I don't think it will happen, but there's a part of me that would love to see it.
If that happens, I'm gonna come on Straight Facts and ruin every single one of Arsenal fans in this comment section's life. I'm just gonna go on a rant for half an hour. Terry himself would go grab popcorn and just let me speak because it's gonna be iconic if that actually happens.
It would
But
be
the way we
crazy.
operate, it won't happen.
This here says, do you guys think Van Dijk will be back to his best this season?
There's a possibility he is back to a very high level. The problem is when you say Van Dijk and best, you're talking about second in the Ballon d'Or. You're talking about insane levels of defending. Do I think he could be back to that level? Probably not, but I still think he could be back to a very, very, very good centre-back level where at least it's a consensus agreement that he's the best centre-back in the league again. I think that's a possibility. But when you talk about his old level, we're talking about like unreal levels he was hitting. That 18, 19, 19, 20 Van Dijk is unstoppable, man.
Virgil van Dijk will never get back to his best. He'll never get back to the peak that he was at 3 to 4 years ago. But he's still one of the best in the world. There are the good thing from a rival point of view, there are holes now in his game because he's just no longer at the very peak. And I think why his peak maybe won't, I don't know, for Liverpool fans, this is just my kind of take on it. Maybe the fact that his peak didn't feel as long is because you signed him that little bit later in his career. Like he's 32 now. Where, for instance, when we signed Vidic and we signed Rio Ferdinand, they were just that bit younger than Van Dijk. So you had their best years for 2, 3, 4 more years younger. Same as John Terry. John Terry signed for Chelsea when he was 27. His peak would never have felt as long. So I think that's what the issue there is personally. But he's brilliant. But yeah, he won't ever get back to his best. But he's still a very, very good player, of course. And I mean that with the utmost respect. This here says Salah's a Barca, that will be insane. But is there another Man City player trying to go to Barca? Well, Bernardo Silva, they've been looking at.
Bernardo, yeah. That's what I was saying. It was supposed to be Bernardo, but according to all the City journalists, and to be fair, journalists in general, not just City journalists, Bernardo is staying. So that's why I'm saying it's a fear, Debbie, because my fear is if somehow like you guys sell Dembele, sell Rafinha, and you're just sat there with no winger, you could fork out 100 million for Mo. You never know, man. You never know.
It certainly could. Could you see? Do you guys believe Arsenal have over-invested in their midfield when they should have been focusing on a proper striker, given how injury-prone Jesus is? Do you think Arsenal have over-invested in their midfield? It's a good question. What do you think, Husam?
This is a very good question because you're making me think, AD, which shows me that you know your shit. I'm thinking about it now. Like, have Arsenal over-invested in their midfield? Is a very solid question because you look at that midfield and there are so many players that can play in your midfield. Timber could play in midfield, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Elneny still registered if I'm not mistaken. You've got Havertz, Trossard could play in midfield. That is 8 players who can play in midfield. 7 or 8 players who can play in midfield. That is crazy. That is crazy. Now you look at your front line, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've said this before and say it again. I don't like Jesus. I don't think Jesus is a good player. Like, I don't think Jesus is a striker that could win you something. I think Martinelli and Saka need to score 20 goals for you to win a league title if Jesus is your striker. Now, do you need to sign a striker? I think you do. If you sell Nketiah, you sell Balogun, you definitely need a striker anyway. If not a starter over Jesus, you do need someone to even start over Jesus. Like, if you go sign an Osimhen, for example, I think that solidifies you even more. But you need they do need a striker. And I think with Jesus' injury record as well, that's not something that you want to see, specifically given the volume of games that they're going to play next season. And Jesus is not like Firmino. Stop talking about Firmino and disrespecting him like that, because Prime Firmino scored you 20 plus goals in all competitions, had Jogo Bonito on lock, and was actually assisting Salah and Mane actively like that. Jesus is a shit version of Firmino. Prime Firmino.
I look at it this way. I think there's too much stock being placed in Arsenal needing a prolific number 9. They scored 88 goals in the Premier League last year, even with Jesus being injured. I think the Martinellis and the Sakas have more goals in them this year. I think Jesus could score more goals for them this year. So I don't think they've overinvested in the midfield at all. I think the midfield is one of the most integral parts of your team. I think some Arsenal fans, especially the negative ones that hate Arteta, I feel like they're always looking for a negative. Does that make sense? And it's, well, what haven't we done? Well, what we haven't got is a prolific number 9. I don't necessarily think Arsenal need him to be able to win, need one to be able to win the league. What I do think they should do, though, is go and buy Mohamed Kudus, who can play striker, who can play in the 10, who can play on the right. And probably barring Trossard at his current level is better, in my opinion, than the Vieiras and the Nelsons, and gives them a lot more strength in depth in their area. But you also look at the fact that Arsenal are going out now, and it looks like the deal is imminent for David Raya to come into their football club. And I look at David Raya as an example, and I know that a lot of Arsenal fans are very, I mean, I saw a crazy poll today that ESPN put up, which was about what's the better deal, Sanchez to Chelsea or Raya to Arsenal. I can't believe that's a debate. Sanchez is a good goalie. Raya is a top-class goalkeeper. And I think Arsenal are improving themselves there. I think they've improved their midfield. And I think if they had a good attacker, they've improved their whole core of their squad. They were already a brilliant, high goal-scoring team last year who only didn't win the league because they started conceding goals. So if you make your midfield stronger, improve your goalkeeper, and add a bit more to the attack, I just don't see I don't see why it's impossible for them to win the league. And I don't think adding Victor Osimhen changes that too much. I think they might score some more goals, but how many more goals is the team going to score other than 88 goals? Like, how many teams score exponentially more goals than 88 goals in a season? Even with, like, when you, on a real level, I don't know the answer. Maybe I'm out by 20 or 30 goals. But when you guys won the Premier League, I'm just going to go and check now. I think you obviously, I reckon you definitely scored more than that. But go back to the 2020 season. How many goals did you score? No, you scored 85 goals the season you won the Premier League. You know, if you actually go over the last...
Our defense was on lock that year, man.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Defense, right? Last season, 94 goals, the winning team got. 99 goals City scored a couple of years before that. City do score a lot of goals, to be fair with you. They do score a lot of goals, 95. So they're in the 95s. So maybe if you add like 5, 6, 7 more goals, but I think the team they've got can do that. I don't think you need a 30-goal a season striker to get you an extra 7 or 8 goals as a team.
Yeah, but Nketiah had moments. Reece Nelson had moments. Jesus, who's injured, had moments. Sometimes in the Premier League, and you know this as well, you need moments players. You need players who can just, out of nowhere, just do something. Now, Reece Nelson, if I'm comparing straight to that Liverpool team, I think Reece Nelson could be their Divock Origi, for example. He could be someone who comes on and scores them. If Reece Nelson scores 3 game winners, he's done his job this season. Like, you don't even have to expect anything wild of him. So Reece could do that for you. But then after that, who's going to get you those goals? Because Nketiah did score like 3, 4, 5, 6 important goals for Arsenal this season. So I look at the situation at Arsenal Football Club, and I'm like, you've got to look at it this way as well, Terry. If they sell Nketiah and they sell Balogun, who's been fighting to leave the club essentially every day, and then you've got the Jesus injury, essentially they've got no one there who can actually play the position fully.
Mate, I do hear you on that. And I think that needs to be looked at. But I just looked at the last 6 years in the Premier League. It's ranged from 85 to 100 goals for the winning team. But the one consistent is 33 goals conceded or less. Generally, it's in the high 20s. Last season, Arsenal conceded 45 goals. Sorry, 43 goals. That's the difference. Arsenal, in my opinion, if they score the same amount of goals, about 88 goals, but concede 10 to 12 goals less, they can most definitely win the Premier League. If they conceded 10 goals less last year, and you average it out across whatever games, they might have beaten you guys 2-1. They might have beaten West Ham 2-1. Those extra 4 points, as an example, could have changed the course of just those two, and a few others could change the course of their season. So, you know, I think it's more about solidifying the back further for Arsenal. I think they'll add more goals naturally through their team. I get why people want to add a prolific number 9, but it's got to be the right number 9, the person that can keep the team, because the way Arsenal play football is so good. So they need to keep that. So, you know, I think that a lot of people are saying that Raya is overrated. I don't think David Raya is. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. and it'll improve them a lot. We need more a right winger than a striker, to be honest. Saka always fades away towards the end of the season. We've proven that with this team. This team can score. I think that's very true. I do think you need some cover for him. Willsey here with his first ever super chat on the terrace. Thank you very much, bro. He says, just want to say I love your shows. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And the super chat, brother. It means a great deal. Highbury Ultra here says systems would have changed drastically to accommodate a striker. People need to realize it's not as simple as just putting a striker in our current system.
No, I know that. I'm not saying that, you know, if you get Osimhen in, it's like a Joga Benito situation with Jesus. It's not, because he isn't as good a footballer. Osimhen is a goal scorer. Okay, so you're right. Now, what I'm saying is, look, if you've got all the creative people around him, because you got a whole shitload of creativity, it would ease the transition of someone like that into the team, because Saka can create, Odegaard can create, Rice can create sometimes, Partey can create sometimes, Havertz, if he's playing as the third midfielder, can create sometimes, Trossard can create, Martinelli can create to an extent. So, like, I think it would ease the transition of Osimhen if you were to sign him. And he does score you 20 plus goals. Now, remember what I said, Highbury Ultra, when I made that argument. I said, if you're not going to get Osimhen in, which I understand you're not getting him in, you need Saka and Martinelli to get 20 goals each, because you still need players to score you goals in moments, players to rise up when it's needed. And that was my point. So, yeah.
I hear you on that. This here says, what I'm going to, could you see Spurs going in for El Wahi? Maybe, but it was followed up by a cow that said, steer clear of Wahi, gift Oban on the other hand. Gift Oban? I don't know who that is, to be fair, but thank you very much. Maybe.
I don't know who that is either, man.
Out of form, Van Dijk is still the best centre-back in the Premier League.
I agree with that. That's the point I'm making. Look, if he's 80% of his former self, he becomes the best centre back in the league, because 100% of his former self is second in the Ballon d'Or. Like, it's different levels. So I'm saying he doesn't need to be that, but he could be still 80% of that and be the best defender in the league.
I get where you're coming from. Silva is greater than Van Dijk, is what K's FN says here.
No, he's not. That argument ended a long time ago, like 2 years ago. Come on, man.
Do you think Thiago's had the better career?
Yeah, but we're not talking about career. We're talking about currently.
Oh, okay. So when I think here greater, I think career rather than who was the best at their peak.
No, in career, of course, Thiago Silva's had the better career. Of course, no one can deny that. Career-wise, Thiago Silva is probably up there with the likes of Ramos, 100%. And Puyol, Terry, Ferdinand.
George here says the only striker on the market at the moment that will contribute to the team and score more goals than Jesus is Kane, and we are defo not getting him.
George, it's funny you said that. Last week we suggested that Kane do the Sol Campbell. If Kane did the Sol Campbell, it would break the internet and it would guarantee you a league title. You need to understand, the front three of Saka, Kane, and Martinelli would ruin defenses' lives, because you're going to have Odegaard behind them. If that happens, George, if somehow that happens, even next summer you sign him from, like, let's say Kane has a really bad season in the Bundesliga for some reason. He does the Sadio Mane. He has a really bad season, and Bayern want to sell him because he punched Kimmich. Imagine Arsenal Football Club coming for him next summer. Oh my God, what would happen to your team? That would be, and I do believe he would need security in London. He would genuinely need bodyguards, because that is gonna hurt a whole lot of Tottenham fans.
Listen, if he ends up at Arsenal, Harry Kane, as you said, the internet, it will be in the social media era, the last decade or so, it would be the biggest ever moment. For outside of a Champions League winner or whatever, a World Cup final, it would be the biggest ever moment. And listen, I don't want it to happen because I don't want Arsenal to get better, but I'm here for it, from just sitting there with popcorn watching, because the meltdowns would be crazy. We're going to go back to Arsenal in a little while, so Guna, stay with us. I want to ask you a little bit about Chelsea, because they're linked with Vlahovic. The Caicedo deal's still on. There's a big report out of Spain that we know that Chelsea are looking at Mbappe, and there's talk that Mbappe is open to a 1-year loan move to Chelsea. It feels like they're closing in now on getting these signings over the line before the Premier League season begins. But who do you think they'll actually end up with?
I think Vlahovic is a realistic scenario. I really think Vlahovic is realistic. And the reason why I think Vlahovic is realistic because Lukaku does want to leave. And it's like, as they say, you know, you kill two birds with one stone. You get rid of Lukaku and you get Vlahovic in. Now with Vlahovic, he's not really mobile like that. He's like if you would like a typical number 9. But Chelsea's problem is, first of all, if Vlahovic comes to Chelsea, he needs to stay away from that number 9. Do not get that number 9 shirt. It is a curse at Chelsea Football Club. That shirt is a curse. Don't touch it. Wear any other shirt except number 9. That's number 1. Number 2, Chelsea since probably Costa, Chelsea in my entire lifetime have had 2 good strikers, Costa and Drogba. They've gotten the likes of Shevchenko, Crespo, like Fernando Torres, the best of the best, and they've just been crap at Chelsea Football Club. With Vlahovic, it's kind of a little bit of the opposite because they aren't getting him when it was Vlahovic hype. Like even you ask Terry, probably 2 years ago on the Terrace, so many people mentioned Vlahovic. No one mentioned Vlahovic.
Everyone wanted him, yeah.
Yeah, when he was at Fiorentina. Now it's like, shit, like he has 10 goals. One more than Højlund, by the way. He has 10 goals, and it's like, man, like what? Like Vlahovic, but I think he could reignite himself at Chelsea. And I think the thing is, I know he's just a goal scorer, but my thing is, Chelsea currently, their front line is just all like technique with just no end product. There's just no end product in that like entire front. Even Sterling forgot how to score goals the moment he stepped foot into Chelsea. So it's kind of just technique all over the place. So you might need a lump who just puts the ball in the back of the net. Like if Dusan Vlahovic gets 15, 16, 17 goals, then he's had a fantastic season compared to your former front line. So I think you strike 2 birds with one stone. With Lukaku, though, Lukaku is just pathetic and embarrassing. And it's just like, he's there doing the whole Lauti, Inter, we're going to be back, doing all this shit. And then he goes plays for Inter's rivals. It's just so weird. It's like, you know, it's like, let's say we're linked to Lavia right now. He comes out publicly and he's like, you know, Liverpool, blah, blah, blah. He comes, plays for us, and then a year after he moves to Man United. Like, come on, man. Come on. It's pathetic, man.
He's just a strange guy like that, Lukaku. So strange, like, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. He's just strange stuff. Like, he's got the worst PR team and management in the world. He really has. He just says and does. All from, changing his accents when he's on podcasts to the interview he did when he was at Chelsea. It's just sometimes, I think he's probably, because I don't know him, so I'm not going to judge his personality. He's probably a really nice bloke. And people that I've spoken to that have met him are like, he's lovely, but he's just got a terrible PR team around him. Look, I think the Mbappe deal, look, there's probably an element of truth to it in the sense of Mbappe's probably open to, he wants to leave, he doesn't want to stay at PSG. PSG don't want to keep him. If Real Madrid can't take him, he can't just play no football for a year. He's probably open to the idea of going to a top club and doing a year on loan. However, I know this is going to sound strange. Maybe it won't. I wouldn't want him for a year because, especially for a team in transition, I don't think it would damage City, but I think the rest of us it would hurt. Imagine you bring him into Chelsea. And he's as good as we all expect him to be. And he scores 35 league goals. And Chelsea win the Prem, or they come second. They win an FA Cup, and they just look amazing. And then he goes off on a free transfer to Madrid. You can't replace it. Mbappe, in my opinion, is so good and brilliant that he's irreplaceable. There is no one you could bring in that would fill that void in almost any capacity. It's a bit like City losing Haaland right now, like you guys losing Mo Salah at his peak. There's certain players that are just, there's always a drop off. So to know that you're only going to have him for a year, personally, I almost feel like saying like, I wouldn't want to do it. It would almost, for that 1 year, it's going to be amazing. But at the end of it, it's like whatever your dream lady is, or man, whatever your preference, height, shape, hair color, skin tone, tone of their voice. They're sent, everything about them, their favorite foods, music, everything there. They are picture perfect. You can have that, or someone who is 70% of your perfect person, but the 70% you can have for life. Your absolute ideal individual, you can only have them for 1 year in your life. I'm picking the 70%er because at least you get consistency. Imagine having the best thing ever for 1 year and then it's gone forever. I couldn't do it. I don't know. There's something about it. I just think steer clear of that shit. Steer clear of it. It'd ruin you. It would ruin you.
I think Mbappe for a year, I do it just for the experience. I do it just for the, like, you know, Mbappe played for my club type thing. That would be a flex. And it would be so much fun to watch. I'm just thinking about it, Terry, as you were speaking. I'm like, fuck, like, imagine Mbappe was on one wing, Salah on one wing, and Gakpo down the middle. That would actually be a cheat code. That would genuinely be a cheat code. So I was like, I do it for a year. I can lie to you. I actually would do it for a year. Now, from Chelsea's perspective, I understand why maybe they wouldn't do it for a year, because they don't really have like a Salah or a Van Dijk or a Trent, or like they don't have that level of player. So maybe one or two, maybe Thiago. It's fair to say Silva. Maybe it's fair to say Reece James to an extent, but Reece James needs a big year this season. So, like, listen, just for seeing Mbappe, Salah, Gakpo front three, I'm in. I do that for a year. Get me Mbappe to Anfield, but it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen.
I do understand it. It would just pain me so much to, like, imagine you get to May, like, we're in a final, we're in the title race, and then you just have this sobering thought of Mbappe's not going to be here next year. You know, you didn't even have time to really enjoy it. But I do hear you. I do hear where you're coming from. But I've got to get, listen, I was thinking about Chelsea earlier today, though. I'm like, look, they've got Axel in. They've obviously got Nkunku looks good. Jackson looks good. They're looking at adding either Elise or Kudus, maybe Vlahovic, and then Caicedo. It's like suddenly Chelsea have a very dangerous team. Whether it all comes together year one is irrelevant. I think that team under Poch over the next couple of years becomes a powerhouse again. I just don't see how it can't with that level of quality from front to back. Technical, strong, quick. You suddenly add in Jackson. Imagine having Jackson and Vlahovic as your main two strikers. You're going to get goals. And that's their biggest issue last year. Even against you, against us, they had chances. They just couldn't score. You add goals to this team and then more balance and more power. Like Chelsea look like they're just, I mean, all summer's been quiet. And suddenly in the last few days, it's like, shit, they could get Axel, Caicedo, Vlahovic, and say Elise over the line. You add that to what they've got. I think Chelsea are a massive threat next year. I really do. If they bring those players in, you know?
I think Chelsea can be a threat to an extent. Like, they're a threat for top four, but they're not a title race threat. I don't think he's a threat. He's the title race threat at all.
No, I don't know if they'll challenge the title next year, but they'll be in that top 4, top 5 race, and then the following year, I think they could be. Cherry, you always say defenses win titles. I weren't talking about titles. I'm not saying they would be in a title race. I'm just saying they could be a very dangerous team next year, and they're on the way back. You change.
Terry, you're not a Chelsea fan, but just for the experience, would you not do it? Just get Mbappe and just to like.
No, but look, I understand why people would.
Because it's Mbappe, Terry. It's Mbappe.
No, I hear you. I'm just talking from the perspective of if it wasn't guaranteed, he wouldn't sign permanently. So let's just say the deal was done, but your club knew, look, there's a good chance you could convince him to stay, then do it. And this year says, Terry, you've changed your tune since last week. Last week you said all teams should go in for Mbappe no matter what. Yeah, you should, but not to only have him for 1 year. And then you develop him for a year and he goes up to Real Madrid and does 8 years. For me, the idea of if you've got no chance of having him in the long term, I wouldn't do it for 1 year, because all the progression you make in 1 year stops as soon as he leaves. So for me, I wouldn't personally do it for 1 year, but that's just my take on it there. But calling Jesus a crap version of Firmino is a terrible take. Jesus has a better GA rate in the Prem. Links play just as well and is an elite presser.
This is, I realize Arsenal fans they lack normal conversations. Like, they just can't. You just focus on the most, like, anything a person says against your club, you're just there, ready to just jump on it. Jay, you're very sensitive. I noticed. You specifically are one of the sensitive people and continue to be sensitive because it means I'm in your head rent free. Now, second of all, it's not a terrible take because Jesus really is a shit version of Firmino because prime Firmino that I referred to from 17-18 until 19-20 was a lot better than Jesus. It wasn't even a conversation. And when you're talking about better GA, he had better GA because he played for Man City and he was the striker. And you want to unpack what Jesus was. Jesus was so not good enough for Manchester City that they played KDB as false nine. Stop acting that Jesus was Erling Haaland reincarnated. Stop. Like he was never that guy. He was never ever that guy. And he is not that guy at Arsenal. And he will never be that guy for you either because that's not Jesus. Jesus is a guy who's good a little bit at dribbling. He's going to play you some nice passes and that's it. That's Gabriel Jesus. Go watch the game against Southampton when it was 3-3. Instead of him actually shooting at the goal when he was in the penalty box, he dived like 3 or 4 times. All this better presser, and he cannot link up play just as well. Go look at prime Firmino, what he was doing with Mane and Salah. Are you mad? Come on, man. This guy didn't start over KDB as false line.
This here, I think this is a Liverpool fan says, big up for Sam. We are screwed, to be honest.
We are. Big up to you,
Machine.
That is a Liverpool fan, but we are screwed. 100%. We are screwed.
My guy here says, waiting for Arsenal to sign Raya and shoehorn him into the top 3 keepers in the Prem or the world, getting the popcorn ready.
People are saying Raya and Ramsdale are better than Onana, so good luck, you guys.
No one has said.
I swear to God, they're saying it.
Viewers, just write Onana or Ramsdale or Onana or Raya. Who's the better of the 3? Who's the better of the 3? Raya, Onana, Ramsdale. Let us know right now. Also, hit the like button, by the way. Not enough of you hit that on the stream so far. Get that smash. Get it past 1,000 while we are live. Let's have a little look and see what names come out. So Onana, we've seen. That's the first one that came through. Onana. Oh, look, see, look, listen.
No Arsenal fan has answered yet. Watch.
The football, we've got one Raya. We've got Raya, but look, the football terrorist knows their ball. They know their ball. Look, as you can see here, we've got one for Rambo. We got here. What else we got? Look at it. It's all coming through.
See all the Arsenal fans? I'm talking about that specific fan base. See here, Shikar Ramsdale. Wayne Ramsdale, the Arsenal crest right there. See?
Yeah, but even City and Liverpool fans, are saying Onana, so I'm going to go with that consensus.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's the Arsenal fan base. That's my problem.
No, I hear you. No one believes it. No one believes that. Husam,
I think Onana's better than both.
Yeah, the only goalkeeper that, in my opinion, in the Prem that's better than Onana is Alisson. That's it.
Ederson as well, no?
I think they're about the same.
Fair.
But I'll let Ederson go. I'll let Ederson go second because he's Prem proven, and I know people love that. Basically. Yeah. But I think by the end of the season, people are going to see, especially when it. Do you know what I really love about the Onana thing? How people are suddenly saying that goalkeepers' passing abilities are not important. It's weird how all I've been told for 5 years is tell you got to get one. You got to get one. I get one. Suddenly it's like, well, why'd you buy that for, you weirdo? It's a very strange behavior. Husam, Klopp and Liverpool are finished, bro. Is what Kev says here.
Tell me something I don't know. Thank you, my brother. We suck. We are not just finished. We absolutely suck and we need help. I just DM'd Curtis, get the engines ready, man. We're flying that plane, man. I'm so sick of this fucking ownership. Moving like cheapskates. I'm done, man.
Kane to Arsenal would be hilarious. It would be. It would be absolutely amazing to watch that happen. Personally, I would love it.
I think the Twitter server would break.
Yeah, well, Elon Musk is running it now, so they've probably got a better server than before. Right? It'll probably work fine, innit? Do you know what I mean?
There'll be so much pressure on Twitter. I just know I've already thought of about 50 people in my head who would make a space straight away if that became a thing. Like, just like that, I'm thinking of people like.
Mate, there are channels that are not even Arsenal or Spurs related. They'd go live. Everyone would just go live. People that run baseball channels would go live. But I've just got to talk about it because it would be that big. It would be that big. It would, honestly, it would be the biggest stabbing in the back since Judas grasped on Jesus. That's the last time in human history there'd be a travesty of that level. Or when Cat Slater cheated on Alfie Moon. And you might only get that if you watch the British soap EastEnders, but I don't know. It's it would cause carnage. Absolute carnage.
It would.
Speaking of carnage, 50 million euros for Mickey van der Ven. Who's he? who's a Mickey? Who's a Mickey? Van der Ven. Mickey van der Ven. It sounds like a new, like, you know, the white van men in the Renaults. It sounds like a new van that not fraud. He could be a fraud that Ford or Renault have released. Who's a Mickey? A pin Mickey.
So pathetic, man. Spurs are just a pathetic football club, honestly. You know, out of respect for the Terrace, I'm actually going to speak about it because Terry is bringing me on Straight Facts to talk about it. But I've actually made the decision this summer to not address any single Spurs thing. I've actually fucking aired Tottenham. I've genuinely not addressed. Like, I'm not even looking at the big six now. I'm just looking at the big five now because it's just such a weird club, man. Such a weird. How you pay 30 million for Madison, 50 million for Van de Ven? Like, how is that a thing? Like, 10 million more, 50 million more, you get Gvardiol, you know, 20 million more, you get Gvardiol. That's how much you're paying for Mickey Van de Ven. I mean, listen, he's talented. We ourselves were linked to him, but nowhere near for that amount of money. He's very fast, he's pacey, he's quick, so that will help maybe in counterattacks and stuff. But he's a project. Nothing exciting, nothing serious. With the Tottenham Hotspur, until the mentality changes in that football club, until they've got a massive change, I don't see them going anywhere, Mickey van de Ven or not. I look at Postecoglou. He was Australian manager when Jordan beat them. On your head, top Australians, hold that. Hold that. We dunked on Postecoglou. Here's the thing, man. Like, it's just, is there any excitement, even from Spurs fans themselves, looking at Tottenham Hotspur? Probably not. Like, Spurs fans themselves would tell you they're not excited. Now, if I was a Spurs fan, I would be organizing protests. I would be speaking up against ownership because that's where I think the biggest problem is. Daniel Levy. And Daniel Levy is almost on the mouth of every single Spurs fan now. Even people who come on the Terrace, people who don't come on the Terrace, it's always like Levy out, Levy out, Levy this, Levy. So they know who the big problem is at Tottenham Hotspur. But I think they haven't really shown that much discontent for him to get him out. I mean, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is still full, you know, even for the Tottenham Hotspur games and stuff. So I think there needs to be a meaningful protest. I think there needs to be a stance held by the fans to fix that football club. And when it comes to Mickey van de Ven, look, Tottenham Hotspur made Romero look like shit. Romero, who went to Argentina and was unbelievable when he played for Argentina. Romero, who before he signed for Spurs, myself, Terry, probably even City fans, Arsenal fans would have taken him at their football clubs.
Yes.
Is now considered the overrated crap defender because he plays for Tottenham Hotspur. And that is my thing with these entire Tottenham Hotspur institution. I just refuse to take them seriously. I think the absolute ceiling for Tottenham Hotspur this season, absolute ceiling, best case scenario, is 5th place. If they get 5th place, give Ange Postecoglou manager of the year.
Do you know what's interesting about it as well with Spurs? So far this summer, 136 million has been spent, another 50 being added to it now, so it'll be about 180 million. They're also linked to this guy, I can't pronounce his name, from where's he playing for now? I think he's an Argentinian player. He plays a young Argentinian player. I can't remember his name. I don't know what they're gonna... No, it's I don't even. I'm going to put it into the private chat just so you can. I can't actually pronounce it. Like, my dyslexia is kicked in. I can't read that name.
Alejo Veliz. Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know how much they're paying for him. It might be cheap, but it's about 180 odd million they've spent so far this summer. You know, 46. This is according to transfermarket.com. 46 on Madison, 40 on Porro, 30 on Kulusevski, 20 on Ricario. They're going to do about 50 now, maybe more. Like, they don't not spend. This is the thing with Tottenham that's so strange. They don't not spend money. They're not the biggest spenders ever, but they're consistent spenders. They're like one of the biggest spenders in Premier League history. And I just sometimes look at it and think to myself, when they dropped like nearly 60 on Richarlison, it was like, You could have gone and got Ollie Watkins, and Ollie Watkins, in my opinion, proved last year he's a better striker. I got laughed at for saying it, but he is. So for me, I don't know. Spurs fans, a lot of them are really gassed. We had George on here the other day, and he was basically saying that Spurs will be back. He thinks they're really going to come back firing and be brilliant this year. And I just thought, back to what? Back to not winning anything. I don't even know what they're going back to. You know, they're just, I don't know, man. They're like having a wart on your thumb. Do you know what I mean? It's just annoying. Just get it zapped off. Do you know what I'm saying? Debbie here says, right as we speak, if Kane goes, that is the end of Spurs as we know it. I hope Ange does his job. Do you think they'll get better or worse if Kane leaves?
The way they spend money, they'll probably get worse. And, you know, I'm thinking about it as Terry's saying it. And low-key, they have spent a whole shitload of money as well. Like, it's not like they haven't spent money. They have spent money, but they're just, you know, Terry, to be honest with you. I'm looking at that Bale when they sold him, and they did like 7 million, 7 players for 100 mil, and they went 1 for 7 because only Eriksen came good. I don't know if Dembele was there already or not. Like, let's say maximum 2 out of 7 came good. I don't know what they do if they sell Harry Kane. They'd probably maybe sign 3 players for 30 mil each. They'd go 1 for 3 or some shit. So, like, probably get worse because goals is worth more than just 102 million. 30 Premier League goals is worth a lot, man. That's someone who could score you 30 goals. Minimum win you 30 goals. He could easily win you 15, 20 games just by his goals alone. So that for me is worth a lot more, man.
No, I hear you on that. I do. It's it's an interesting one. George here says Tottenham Hotspur, the only club in the world to finish above Pep and not win the title. Wow. Is that true? Well,
yeah, the Leicester season, no?
That's crazy. The only team to finish
the Leicester season. Who won the league? The Chelsea season, sorry. The Conte season. When Spurs finished 2nd, City 3rd, United 4th.
So obviously since then, Liverpool and Chelsea won the league. Liverpool have won the league since. So wow, Spurs are the only club team ever to finish above Pep and not go on to win a Premier League title. Oh no! That's not a good record to have. Listen. I love our Arsenal fans know that as well. Like that they actually know that's the case. Terry, is Kane the Man U still to Man U still written in the stars? Well, Danny, look, listen. When I said it, everyone that was watching knows that I haven't said it's happening because I've got inside info, like I'm in the know. I'm just like I'm putting it out there. I'm trying to will it into existence. In my heart of hearts, I don't think it will, but I'm just. Come on now, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. You know, when your team's losing with like a minute to go and you're just praying that you score a goal from nowhere. Sometimes your goalkeeper goes up the other end like Alisson did and put the ball in the back of the net. You would never have predicted it could happen. So, yeah, it's one of them ones, man. It's one of them. The post-Kane era where they won't rely on one person, unlike kind of like Hazard. It could be like that. They could go backwards. They could go forward. I mean, Chelsea, you're a Chelsea fan. Would you say you've gone forward or backwards since Hazard left? You won the Champions League, but you haven't challenged for a league title in 7 years. So how do you gauge? For me, I'd say Chelsea have gone backwards. And on the way down, brilliantly won a Champions League, but you haven't progressed since that point. Terry, remember Harry Kane rejected us in November 2020. Now we've got Haaland treble winner. Did he reject you?
These City fans are so shameless. Kane would have broke the goal scoring record at City too. Come on, just please. He scored 30 goals at shit Spurs. Yasin, just behave, wallahi. Imagine how much creativity you'd have in that team if you bought Kane with all the players creating for Kane. Come on, man. He would have banged 40 Prem goals, man. Come on, just behave, please.
Yeah, no, I hear you, mate. 100%. It's certainly an interesting one. To say the least. I don't know if he rejected you. The deal didn't get done between clubs. Why do you go all the way back to Judas? The biggest rat is Dembele. I pray to see PSG versus Barca in the Champions League with a fit Dembele. That game would be spicy. Why is Dembele a rat?
Dembele is a rat because apparently, from what my understanding, obviously I'm not a La Liga expert. I don't watch La Liga or anything like that. I watch here and there. Here's the thing. Apparently, Dembele told Barcelona he wants to stay and then went against the grain and just 180 degrees decided to move to PSG in August. So now the entire institution is pissed off. He put Xavi in a very bad place in an interview because Xavi came out and said at the start that Dembele is staying, and then he said Dembele is leaving. So he ratted them out completely, essentially changed his mind 180 degrees. That's why they're pissed off.
Right, I get it. I don't think it's a bad thing, though. The man's barely ever fit. I think it's a good thing for Barcelona. He's gone. And talent, brilliant. Availability, woeful. Will this be make or break year for your managers? Question to you both. Is it a make or break year for Klopp?
Do I speak reality or like reality is FSG ain't second, Klopp. Let's just be honest. We could, I promise you right now, Liverpool could finish 10th and Klopp is still going to be the manager. Let's just stop lying to ourselves. There's no need for me to lie. I'm not going to come on a show called Straight Facts and lie to your faces. Klopp could finish 10th and he'd still be manager.
I think it's make or break if Ten Hag has a bad year. If we finish 6th in the league, he'll lose his job. But I think if we progress, you know, win more games, play better football, progress, get closer to the teams at the top, but don't win anything, I still don't think they'll sack him because you can't just. I know managers are judged on trophies, but that's you look back and go, how many trophies did you win? How successful were you? So yeah, it's not. I wouldn't say it's make or break, but we can't go backwards dramatically. Otherwise, the manager could be sacked. So the progression and trajectory is going to be very, very key indeed for Man United. Oh, Dembele pocketed 25 million from the 50 million deal. Damn. That's okay. I get what you mean by snake now. He's not only gone, he's taken off the money. So it's hard to reinvest it. Jeez. Listen, I want to thank everybody for their comments on the show, their super chats, our members, everyone who's hit the like button so far. Thank you. Please make sure before you leave, you've turned on the bell notifications so you don't miss any more of our content. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Husam, always a pleasure to speak to you, bro. We'll be back same time next week in the build up to the Premier League beginning. And I am going to arrange something special with Straight Facts next week as well. So keep your eyes out for it. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all